Hello, hi there, how are you doing?
Admittedly, at the moment, this channel is more like the definition of a helicopter that says 10,000 bits and pieces, the majority of which hopefully might agree to fly in roughly the same direction at any given moment. And you know what? Somehow that kind of feels like the definition of what's going on in my head. Yeah, after the last video, people were asking me what's that about, the weird portrait format and still images, so slideshow on the other side, and I totally agree with them. Thing is, we humans are a little bit of a strange thing because we work really well in portrait format, but we actually look at the world most of the time in landscape. You see, when I say I have a look around, then I would usually move from left to right or right to left. I wouldn't just look up and down, even though that is kind of around as well. And well, let's face it, what the things that we design, yachts, they don't really work that well in portrait format either, because they're usually long, not that tall. At least they shouldn't be that tall. Anyway, diving into how to design, and one important point, that is the speculative working. We had that before about the sketching and the importance of sketching. I keep saying that a designer that only designs when he get asked to design something isn't really a designer or a creative person, because a creative person always has ideas, and there's a natural urge to get these ideas out of your head. We are supposed to do new things, because that's what creative actually means. If you wait for somebody to ask you to design something, then you only design what you asked for, and the client is not a creative person, so the client does not really know all the possibilities yet, so you have to give him possibilities. And the best way to show him what is possible is to sit down, design something, show it to the world without anybody asking, and do something. And well, of course you use it for marketing, you use it to attract clients, but the important thing is you also use it to show the clients what is possible, because they will not ask you for something that they don't know about. They can only ask you for something that they do know, which is already something that is out there. First things first, of course you can start with a blank sheet of paper, and that's fun, and you don't always know what's coming out in the end. It could be just about anything, and that's actually the fun of it. But if you want to design a yacht and you want to sketch a yacht, then it's actually not a bad idea to write down a couple of things. Give your idea a name. Name is the shortest brief, basically, and then you write down the length, if it is an explorer yacht, a fast, a few words, a few notes, just to anchor the concept, and you will elaborate later, but for now you're good to go. In this case, African Queen, a film with Humphrey Bogart and Katharine Hepburn, 40-45 meters, modern, slightly futuristic, with a couple of retro touches. The interesting question, how do you make it African on the outside? On the inside, I would think it's fairly easy. You do the colors, you do the patterns, materials. How much can you actually translate into the exterior?
funnel might be a cool feature. So, yeah, you don't really need to go more into detail at this moment. The next step would be to elaborate on a profile. All right, this is obviously a different profile. It's more for an explorer type, still the volume forward, slightly higher up observation lounge kind of thingy, larger aft deck. But the principles apply just as well. That is, I would look for the main volumes first, that is the hull, the pieces of the superstructure, and I select them, I add color and a little bit of highlights, just to create a feel for the main parts before diving into the details. Call me old-fashioned, but I do like the classic profile illustration, and in many cases it's already a very useful tool to communicate your design intent to the client. So you're almost ready to go into 3D, but take a moment and think of the features that you would like to implement, like the pool, the access to the bathing platform, the tender launching, whether you want a crane or whether you want to go into crazy stuff like asymmetrical superstructures, because all those things might actually not have appeared before when you were drawing the profile, but you certainly want to have them on the radar when doing the 3D. And here we go. But let's start this adventure in a more organized way. That means we put a couple of goalposts up, like the center line, the length, the dex levels. And then we also import a profile as a background that helps guiding us. I usually would put a couple of lines down that are the waterline, and then I start building up the surfaces from there, thinking about the tumble home, thinking about what happens around the bow. But I think for today we've achieved quite a bit, and we continue next time.
One more thing for the young designers out there: don't try to make it look like a yacht. It's something. It's kind of a trap that you easily fall into, and it happens to me too. That you draw something, or even worse, when you model it later, you try to make it look like a yacht. I mean, that sounds a bit strange. It means you try to make it look realistic, which means that you use certain aspects or certain things that look like the other yachts out there. It's kind of it's a little bit of an obstacle. So free yourself
from the thought that your yacht only looks like a yacht when it looks like the other yachts. If that makes sense? Yeah, good. I know you know what I mean.